fire, 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 fire.
I'm finna whip this.
Oh shit! It's another Nasu video, by the way, too. It's great.
Oh.
I didn't play this, man. I saw this fucking Pokemon with the stupid your tail in the way. Oh yeah, my bad. Sorry. Forget my tail's in the fucking way. Let me restart. When I saw the fucking Pokemon with the wheels and shit, I was like, dude, damn. This is getting a bit too dystopian for me.
If there's any game series that seemingly just
Although I did like the little cat, little green, the grass type cat.
cannot die, it's Pokemon. Red and Blue dropped nearly 3 decades ago, and the games have
3 decades ago.
You got babies and boomers alike copying every new release. The demographic ranges anywhere from I need to set up my 401k to mommy, I shitted myself. I mean, Pokemon has sold more copies than the Bible.
That's my chat right there.
Just trust me, bro. Despite the popularity of the franchise, though, it seems like in recent years there's been a growing sentiment that the games just
it is falling off.
Anymore. Somewhere along the way, they lost what made them special and became hot garbage. A lot of folks attribute this to the game's developers, Game Freak, either being lazy or just incompetent. In my last video when I mentioned that I'll be talking about Nintendo in this video,
I don't think it's laziness, it's just pumping out money. The bike Pokemon are cool, but the red one is cringe. I think the blue one's okay. Pokemon sucks, that reminds me that I'm old. I want this guy to explain it to me in dumbed down terms why it's become worse, because I just have the feeling as a gamer why it doesn't feel right. Like, I played through Sword and Shield, and it was fine. It was okay. But when I looked at the Sun and Moon, I was like, dude, this is like really not it anymore. I don't know. A downgrade really started at Sword and Shield. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it was still okay. I enjoyed it, but still. Pokemon is my comfort series to put on its flaws and all. Yeah, it's fair. Like, it's just sad. Pokemon doesn't exist past Gen 3 for me. Yeah, Gen 3 is about like the peak. The peak, you know? Is it in 1080? Okay, it is.
Video, several people in the comments were quick to point out that, hey, you know that Pokemon isn't actually developed by Nintendo.
Game Freak is to blame for Pokemon State, not Nintendo. Tell me the last buggy or an unfinished Zelda or Mario you can't. I've never seen Pokemon be buggy, though. I've played through a lot of Pokemon games and I've never had bugs. I think this is cope.
Right? You know that it's Game Freak. It's Game Freak that makes the games. It's Game Freak that needs to be burned at the stake. But I think the problem is a little bit more nuanced than just saying, just take the bad game developers and replace them with good ones.
No,
it's impossible to talk about it without first addressing Nintendo. As a professional guy with opinions on the internet, I wanted to dive into this topic and ask, did Pokemon actually fall off?
Yo, it's a fucking airplane?
L plus ratio? Let's find out. But first, let's set the stage.
It's an aeroplane bike?
Nintendo!
Nintendo is an old-ass company. It was founded in 1889 and originally
1889? Holy crap, I didn't know it was that old. Can you turn up a little bit of video audio? I thought it was fine. Guys, is the audio too quiet? I thought it was okay. It's showing up on my stream that it's okay. I turned it up the first time, it's like almost halfway. But it just talks quiet. I think you should just turn up the stream a little bit, I don't know. Can be up the bit still? Okay, it's starting to blast my ears.
Originally made Japanese playing
Thank you,
cards.
Bonesy.
They wouldn't step into the video game industry until almost a century later, with their first major hit being the arcade game Donkey Kong in 1981. 2 years after that, they dropped their first ever home console, the NES. Something that's been crucial to Nintendo's longevity is that ever since the company's early years in the games industry, they've never been one to follow trends. They were much more focused on breaking new ground instead of doing what everyone else was doing.
Final Fantasy 3. Holy. That's a throwback.
I mean, here's Mario creator Shigeru Miyamoto saying as much in a 1998 interview.
まあそれがトレンドなんで僕はトレンドの方を見ないようにしようとしてる。
Aw, what a
Before
smile.
Nintendo, game
Little does he
controllers were
know.
these eldritch abominations that you couldn't figure out where to put your fingers. The NES introduced the concept of a directional pad on the left and face buttons on the right. The SNES added shoulder buttons, and the N64 popularized the analog.
Yeah. Oh my god, I spent so many hours playing on Nintendo 64. As Little Miles, thank you. Yeah, dude, holy crap. I played Pokemon Stadium, all the Mario parties. I think my favorite one was 4. Mario Party 4. If I remember correctly. Pokemon 1 and 2, Pokemon 1 Stadium 1 and 2, freaking Smash. Everything.
All of which laid the groundwork for modern controllers we have today. Everything Nintendo did seemed like a recipe for success.
Nothing
The Wii
better?
initiated
Really?
an entire era of motion controls, being
I don't know, I really like the PlayStation ones, but I'm just biased.
the reason why we got the PlayStation Move and Xbox Connect a few years
The
later.
move!
I still haven't forgiven them for that shit. The company has never focused on hardware power, but instead
Laura, thank
prioritizes
you.
innovative new gameplay concepts.
That's very sweet, thank you.
Nintendo doesn't really directly compete with Sony or Microsoft. While the
They just
demographic
do their own thing, they don't give a fuck, but that also kind of is a detriment to them, to be honest.
do overlap, Nintendo targets their products at a different audience. The only real
Mhm.
rival they had was Sega's Sonic the Hedgehog was created for the explicit purpose of competing with Mario, and throughout the 90s, he did a pretty damn good job. But after Sega left the console market in 2001, and Sonic would start appearing on the same platforms as Mario, the Blue Hedgehog wouldn't see the same level of success. Sonic
There's still a very loyal fan base, I would say. There are still a lot of, like, Sonic diehard fans that really identify with Sonic. I don't know why, but I did play a lot of Sonic Heroes. I played the one on the GameCube. Whatever this one is. The one with the chocos. Blah, 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 blah. Chocobos. Fucking not chocobos. Holy shit. I'm spacing out. The ones with the fucking the ones where you could, like, fucking have them on a farm? It's been years. I don't remember. The Chaos? The Chow? The Chow! I didn't mean Chocobo juice, dude. Yeah, the one where you farm them. Sonic Adventure Battle 2? Yeah, that one. I played this one, which was Sonic Adventure, right? Leave me out of this. Shut up. Best Sonic game ever? I agree. I think Sonic Heroes is pretty up there too for me, but it was a little bit buggy.
Sonic would have a rocky entrance into the 21st century, and it'd be a long time before the series would find its footing. While Sonic tried to mature with its original audience, Mario stuck to just making good
Being a
games.
Mario
When
game,
you try
yeah.
to age with your fans, you end up with Hedgehog with the Blicky.
Shit with the gun!
You don't want to end up with Hedgehog with the Blicky. Hey, you know what teenagers like? Guns, motorcycles, and of course, racism.
Disgusting black creatures. Get out of my sight.
Niggers?
No!
Cartoon?
The early 2000s came and went, and Nintendo kept doing their own thing. 1995
Is that actually real? No way. I didn't know that. What? That's
Virtual
real?
Boy, their worst selling console ever. Doesn't matter. You're gonna take another stab at 3D with the 3DS.
Please look it up. I don't believe that. Dude, I don't want to Google Shadow the Hedgehog black racism. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
It didn't sell nearly as well as its direct predecessor, the DS,
Shadow the
but
Hedgehog.
it also wasn't no goddamn Virtual Boy. 2012 would see the release of their second biggest commercial flop, the Wii U, but Nintendo was still unfazed.
I kind of liked the Wii U, even though it was terrible.
They just kept innovating, and a short 5 years later, they got a head start on the 9th console generation with the Switch. They took the best parts of their previous home and handheld consoles and merged them to create a product that nothing else was competing with. Nintendo's
Good.
approach to design embodies the blue ocean strategy, which conceptualizes the industry as a red ocean where many compete for the same customers. By
I like the Switch. It's a good console. Okay, I can play it anywhere I want. It's nice being able to be like in my friend's car And if we ever go on a road trip, she can just drive and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna play my Switch, and they go blah 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 blah. I like Switch when I'm paying $20 a month for Nintendo's crappy online coding. Is it $20? I thought it was like $4 a month for the stupid online crap.
By innovating and creating their own blue ocean, they avoid competition altogether to satisfy demand
yes,
that
I
only
am
they can
soy.
supply. But over the past several years, Nintendo has been a lot more keen to adopt strategies used by their competitors. Remember playing games online on the Wii? Yeah, me neither. The connection was ass, but hey,
It's still ass. Playing online games that are like real action time based, like Smash on the, what is it called? On the Switch is so ass. Like playing DBD on Switch is impossible. Not that I've ever played myself, but I've heard enough complaints about it. It's still around $4 a month. Yeah, I was about to say it's not $20 a month. That's insane. Still not even worth it for a year. Ah, yeah, I would say if it was $2 a month, I think it would be okay. But $4 is not. It's such ass.
at least it was free. Microsoft was the first to charge for online play, and Sony wasn't too far behind. Finally,
Big
word got around to
mistake.
Nintendo that they were leaving money on the table, and in 2018, after a year of offering free online for the Switch, they pulled the rug out
Cringe.
from under players and locked it behind Switch Online.
Cringe.
Which, I mean, okay, it's standard practice at this point. Just one tiny problem. The online was still ass.
It's
Switch
so
games use a peer-to-peer
ass.
connection, which means that there's no dedicated server that hosts games between players. Each device communicates directly with all the other
It's
ones.
so
This
bad.
also means that they don't have any server costs and are essentially just charging you to use your own.
That's what killed me about it. Peer to peer, no way, what? Yeah, it's so bad. You can't play Smash. It's just impossible because playing online Smash, everything is just so fucking delayed and like clunky. It's terrible.
Internet connection. Hey, just make it cheaper than the competition and people should be happy. While initially against paid DLC, Nintendo got their first taste of it back in 2012 with Fire Emblem Awakening. Now it's a
Yeah, the
surprise when a
online is
major title
awful.
doesn't get DLC. Fire Emblem Engage got a DLC trailer before the base game was even released.
Wait, what? That's insane. It's like a fucking. If they made WoW and then they said, yeah, we're making TBC before WoW is even announced. It's
When asked
insane.
about adding in-game purchases to Nintendo's first mobile game, Mario Run, Miyamoto said,
こうなってるからこうなんですって僕割と嫌いなんですね。僕らはどうしたいのかと考え
Luckily, Fire Emblem Heroes and Mario Kart Tour came in to rectify that with microtransactions out the ass. Wait, you mean we can just charge whatever for these trash-ass controllers and people?
I still to this day do not understand this. How badly made these are. They're very low quality too.
Would just buy them? Anything other game companies could get away with, they could do, but better.
はい、そうですね。
古川さん、私のチンチンは小さい。本当に？はい、見てください。
見てください。見て見て。That's so funny, dude.
Kanpeki. Most recently, Nintendo learned that they can release games unfinished and just patch in the rest of it later as a
Hello, Dr.
free
Dreads.
update.
Hi.
Oh yeah, Pokémon. Pokemon was the brainchild of Satoshi Tajiri, who was one of the founders of the game development company Game Freak. When he had the idea for Pokemon, Game Freak was on its last legs and he pitched the concept to Nintendo. With some convincing from Miyamoto, he got the green light, and 6 years of development later, Pokemon Red
6 years, man. For Pokemon. Crazy.
and Green released to immediate critical acclaim. After the
Oh! Just reminds me of holding my little controller in my grubby little kid hands. If only they kept that cycle. I know, isn't it fucking sad? They just want to fucking pump out money. Pump it out, pump it out. 2 years? That's too slow.
game's success, Nintendo,
Shake my
Game
head, man.
Freak, and a third company who had also invested in Pokemon, Creatures, would go on to create a new company to manage
Shut
the
up, Choco,
franchise,
bitch.
creatively named the Pokemon Company. Each of these three companies owned a third of this company, and this began a partnership that continues to this day. Game Freak develops the games, Nintendo publishes them, and Creatures supports Game Freak in development. Without the initial injection of capital from Nintendo and Creatures, it's quite possible that Pokemon wouldn't exist today, even with their
Yeah, I mean, if Game Freak was on his last leg. This on its last legs. This makes sense. I think it's because Super Mario early games only took a year. Wow. I don't think a platform is that as complicated as developing a Pokemon game. I mean, no offense. But Mario is a platformer, wasn't like, you know, wasn't that innovative, I would say.
Game Freak nearly went bankrupt during development. The importance of publishers can't be understated, especially before the advent of Steam and self-publishing. Oftentimes, game studios look for larger companies to fund their projects or even buy them out entirely because it gives them security. Platinum Games CEO Atsushi Inaba said in a 2012 interview that Bayonetta 2 wouldn't have happened without Nintendo. Many games associated with Nintendo are actually from second-party developers with close ties to the company. Donkey Kong Country was made by Rare before being bought out by Microsoft. Fire Emblem is developed by Intelligent Systems. Kirby is developed by HAL Laboratory. Even Smash Bros isn't made in-house. But publishers aren't just publishing out the
Yeah, but then who made Smash? Who the frick made Smash? I want to know
goodness
this.
of their heart. They're usually tied to the developers through a stake in the company or shared ownership of the IP. Such is the
Fucking
case with
love Smash.
Pokemon. In addition to their 1/3 ownership in the Pokemon Company, they also have a minority stake in Creatures. Although it's still not enough to consider the Pokemon Company a subsidiary of Nintendo, it effectively
God with the intent of children. No, I meant Super Smash, not smashing yourself with
makes them
another
the largest individual
person.
shareholder. Also, all Pokemon-related trademarks are solely owned by Nintendo. The current president of Nintendo was previously a member on the board of directors at the Pokemon Company, and the president before him was previously the CFO at TPC. There's a lot of spillover between all of these companies.
Reggie! Fucking Reggie, man. Fucking Reggie,
Leadership within
dude.
large
This is so
corporations is
terrifying.
extremely incestuous, and being under new management is often just shifting around the heads at the top level. Painting Nintendo as a passive bystander
This
that
is
sits in the corner and
terrifying.
watches Game Freak bastardize their most valuable IP is disingenuous. As the ones who entirely bankroll development, it should go without
Why is he such a big ass pointy ass chin? I hate like how it looks. It's such a caricature.
saying that they have influence over what happens with the series. While researching for this video, I came across some dangerous levels of cope from fans trying to do anything to shift blame away from their
Reminder, Nintendo does not own Pokemon. They have 32% shares in the company that does and have very little power over what company does with the Pokemon. Cope, bitch, cope! That's
favorite
cool.
multi-billion-dollar corporation. The simple fact is that the direction the games have gone in has been entirely congruent with Nintendo's recent business decisions, and a lot of the other problems are issues that have existed for
Wait, are you guys talking about these bugs? Because I've never had this problem in other Pokemon games. Is this a bug or is this intended? I think I remember people encountering bugs now. Really? It's real? Oh my god. Yo, the day has come that Nintendo doesn't have polished games.
forever. I fell off the franchise when it
Terrifying.
first went 3D. I was already in high school by the time X and Y rolled around, and I'd moved on to more mature games like Angry Birds and Clash of Clans.
Clash of Clans!
I still had love for the franchise.
Lest we forget, there are men out there who are middle-aged and over who have spent $100,000 on Clash of Clans. There is a clip out there of a guy admitting to it.
But fear that my best days with it had already passed. So I kept up with the games from a distance, but for the sake of this video, I subjected myself to the most recent entries, Scarlet and Violet. Here's how that went.
Cockheads, where we at? Right here, right here. I'm a cockhead.
Just give it a second. It's still loading.
Oh no, not the
Anytime
loading
now.
screen.
Anytime now. Yeah,
Any
Gen
day
9 and
now.
beating the Dookie allegations. Everything you've heard about the performance is true. From the opening cutscene, I was greeted by nasty screen tearing, stutters, and frame drops. The game is
It wasn't that bad when I played Pokemon Sword and Shield. Like, I'm kind of glad I skipped this shit.
glitches galore, and it's a toss-up what glitches you may experience. I saw
Like, never in my life have I had that experience, man, with Pokemon games, because they're always, like, well-polished, even if they're not, like, you know, amazingly, like, innovative.
bugs that I haven't seen anyone else get, and I've seen videos of bugs that never happened to me. You can enter a Pokemon battle and have nothing to look at but this. The camera will clip into terrain at random, maybe you'll even drop straight through the ground if you're feeling kinky. NPCs will continuously walk into an invisible wall before getting tired.
Gulk, gulk, gulk. Is that what this kid is doing? Sad thing is to say it was one of the best Pokemon games, just dragged down by bugs. But I mean, is it really? Like, honest opinion, one of the best, like top 5, you would say.
And ascending to the astral plane. Hey yo, what the fuck? Pokemon like this demonic ass bound suite will teleport from walking on thin air to following and preying on unsuspecting children.
The only thing I'm proper angry about is that BDSP's shiny charm isn't working, was never fixed. I don't know what BDSP's shiny charm is, but I feel your pain.
Fetch me their soul!
The game's buggy, I'm sure you've heard by now, so...
Yo, he's fucking... He's fucked! He's in the gritty, look at him! Oh my god!
Soul!
He's doing it! He's gonna go wah, wah,
The game's
wah,
buggy, I'm sure you've heard by now, so I'm not really gonna harp on that. What I want
He's
to focus
throwing
on
it
are the
back.
things that can't be fixed with patches. The game's core design and how it compares to earlier generations. It starts out like any Pokemon game. You take control of your prepubescent protagonist with a mother that's way too comfortable with you leaving the house, and a father that's out trying to catch a milk tank.
Trying to catch a milk tank for those fucking milkers. Now watch me whip. Pokemon designs were good, the story was good, the open world was fun. It needed a year of polish though. Yikers. I fucking hate it when I hear, again, the problem with games nowadays being pushed to release earlier than intended, and then it comes out, it's like, well, it should have needed another year in the oven, just like New World, just like Shadowlands, fucking World of Warcraft. Makes me mad. Just fucking let the game be. Stop pushing.
Also, this has to be Pokemon's protagonist with the least amount of drip. You got less sauce than a Little Caesars Hot and Ready, and the other clothing options aren't much better. You're introduced to your rival, choose your starter, and head out.
Kitty! That's the only reason I know about this game is because of the freaking kitty. The grass type.
on your journey.
Forget Sam.
Beautiful nature. Yeah, bro, this shit looks immaculate. From the moment you get your rideable Pokemon, damn near the entire island of Paldea opens up to you. There are 3 main quests,
Fuck
and
this
you can
guy.
tackle them in pretty much whatever order you want. Access to certain parts of the island are locked behind upgrades for your mount, a la Metroidvania, which you acquire as you progress one of the main stories. These upgrades
We learned about Metroidvania yesterday. Now I know what he's talking about. How very cool.
basically replace the HMs of previous generations and naturally opens up
Rideable?
more of the
Yes,
overworld
ride
as you
the
play.
Pokemon.
And I'd say it's executed pretty well. If you come across something that you can't get past, you're incentivized to explore and come back later, even though you can just break the game by jumping backwards. However, despite its vastness, Pokemon's most expansive world yet still ends up feeling like one of its most empty. Instead of tall grass, wild Pokemon roam the open world freely, and you initiate battle by either running into one or throwing a Pokeball. Only problem is, the game has a max draw distance of like 2 inches, so you'll be riding through the world and Pokemon
Yikes, man. I would fucking hate that shit.
will materialize directly in front of you and start a battle that you never wanted to enter. NPCs
Ugh.
also pop in and out depending on how far you are from them, and that distance is not very long. For moving NPCs, you can literally watch their frame rate decreases the farther they get away from you, and increases when they walk towards you. I've heard
Why he walking like that too? I don't understand.
a lot of people blaming the Switch hardware, and while yes, the Switch is by far the weakest current gen console, I don't remember every other Switch game running like this. Breath of the Wild was an open world launch title that was also released on the Wii U.
Yeah, it's not
Scarlet
an
and
excuse,
Violet were
man.
released for the Switch and only the Switch. Zelda managed to have an open world on the Switch through tight optimization. One major aspect of game design is the constant search for the most efficient way to do any given task. Something as
What is that called? I think in Resident Evil 4 originally they were limited a lot through their hardware, so they had to make the most of it. And they created one of the best sound designs of all time in any video game ever, I think, because they were so limited graphically. Good night, all. Have a nice stream. Thank you, Libertusca. Thank you. Isn't these kinds of glitches on the Switch either? Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is like it's kind of disappointing that they can say like, oh, you know, it's limiting the graphics and the hardware. Like, no, it's not. Look at other games, you dumb bitch. Restriction breeds innovation. Yes, exactly.
Simple as creating grass for your open world is an extremely painful process with no shortage of external factors to consider. How do you render millions of blades of grass without crashing your game? Simple. You cheat. You only render what the player can see. You switch the detailed 3D modeled grass for less detailed 2D textures when the player is farther away. And this doesn't just apply to 4K ultra-wide RTX on next-gen titles. By its very nature, an open world is demanding on hardware. When developing for a weaker system, the importance of optimization is even greater, because you're working with tighter limitations. It's a harder task, but as proven by previous games, it's not an impossible one. But even when you have a game developer with experience game developing, laments the fact that Tears of the Kingdom is going to be restricted.
I think Tears of the Kingdom is going to be incredible, but I think it's a tragedy that it has to run on what is effectively a mobile chipset from 2015. Open World Zelda really deserves less dated hardware to more fully realize its magic. I mean, it's still a great game. I don't see the problem.
To the limitations of the Switch, there's at least one guy in the replies going, "Is graphics all that matter to you people? Not everything has to be 8K 300 FPS horse testicles. What about the gameplay?" When you don't design your game to fit into the box created for it by its hardware, this is what you get. But hey, it's not just performance issues. The towns in Paldea are dead. Those glitching, teleporting NPCs, you can actually talk to maybe
So it runs a sub 30 FPS? I didn't notice it when I played it. Maybe I'm just a derp. Red Dead had horse balls? Yeah, it does. They rendered horse balls into the game and stuff.
10% of them. The buildings, you can enter an average of maybe 2 per town, and the 2 that you can enter are the same copy-pasted stores throughout every single city. And wait, let me rephrase. You can actually enter 0 because the stores aren't actually stores, but menu prompts. Instead of the stores actually having
Yo, that's so fucking lazy, man. Every other Pokemon game you could go inside and talk to people. There was like always like someone you could talk to, even if it's like for a second.
You just get hit by a blinding white light and a menu pops up.
That's so immersion breaking. Because every other Pokemon title I've ever played in my life, God, this is so annoying. Like every other title, all the little minute people, they have like people sitting in the cafe, and then you talk to the like, you know, the person that's making the food or has the fucking. Did they condense this for what is it called? The Pokemon Center? Did they do this for the Pokemon Center as well? Because the Pokemon Center was the reason why you felt kind of like immersed as like a Pokemon trainer, because you go there to heal and like put your Pokemon in the PC and shit. Like, why is this in the game? Like, it's so weird how they undercooked the balls off this game. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Pokemon Center's like outside in a booth? What? Bro. That's disappointing,
alias.
man.
Tasty. All of the other buildings are just for show. You can't barge into people's homes and invade their privacy. Like, that's a core aspect of our
invading their privacy. Yeah, that was like a core part of the gameplay. I loved being a weird kid that just barged into people's houses.
RPGs. Going city to city in Paldea is basically just a beeline for the gym challenge, the gym battle, and then I'ma head out. There's no old man passed out on the street gone off that lean. There's no walking into an eerie town with unsettling music where everyone seems to be on edge, and then seeing this massive tower for you to explore. There's no casino to help children develop gambling addiction.
I don't have a gambling addiction, but I did like the gambling in these games.
There's a severe lack of content in the cities of Paldea. For Glaciado Gym, they went full mask off and just had 0 other buildings. Just Poke Center, Gym, Stadium.
What?
Like
bro! What? What is this?
Just had 0 other buildings. Just Poke Center.
Poke Center Gym. Look at that.
Gym, Stadium.
That's terrible. Bye, guys. I'll see you on Saturday if you're there for FaZe stream. Remember, guys, I am streaming. I'm not streaming on Saturday, but I will be hanging out in FaZe stream.
Like, damn, bitch, you live like this?
You live like this?
Where do all these people come from? The big metropolitan city of Paldea, Levent.
Oh, dude, this hurts to look at. Like, what is this, man? What is this? This looks like a fucking mobile game. The Switch can do better than that.
Valencia has these gorgeously modeled skyscrapers that you just can't enter. Sure would have been crazy if they let you enter the big eye-catching buildings. Lavencia does, however, have an actual interior to its sandwich shop, so that's something. It also has one of the hardest bops of the whole soundtrack. In fact, the entire soundtrack goes hard as hell. This honestly might be the best OST of any Pokemon game.
What the hell?
How cute. Hey, who's gonna tell her? The Pokemon battles are business as usual. Everyone knows what to expect from the combat in Pokemon games at this point. It's a tried and true recipe that still holds up. The gimmick this time around is terastallizing, which gives your Pokemon a goofy ass hat, but also allows you to change their type. It's an interesting concept that will probably be taken out back and shot in the head instead of actually being
Thank you for the follows, you know. Hi, Ryathis. Sandwiches got more love than Norse Joy. Yep. That's actually kind of sad to think about, let's be honest. Changed their type, apparently, so.
fleshed out in subsequent titles. Being able to do the objectives in any order was a feature I had a lot of fun with. I've never been one to EV train or really do any kind of min-maxing in Pokemon, but I do like when the fights are a bit more challenging. If my team ain't looking like this after the battle, I don't want it. I even had to use an X item for the first time ever. Doing bosses under-leveled forced me to really interact with the game's mechanics, which are honestly deeper than a lot of people give them credit for.
That's nice,
also meant that
actually.
I would steamroll the other half of the bosses that I skipped, but hey, I'll take what I can get. What doesn't have much depth though is the painfully boring minigame copy and pasted in every single team star base, where you run around and just press the R button for like 3 minutes. Not to mention, the bases themselves are all identical to each other, and so are the star mobiles that all the bosses fight with. The gym tests are also just
Starmobiles? What?
tedious, simple tasks. It's more of a form.
What? Why were you fighting a car? Pokemon, what? Dude, if you told me 20 years ago when I picked up my first Pokemon game, and they said, yeah, bitch, here you go. Why you beating up a truck? I'd be like, why am I beating up this ice cream looking truck with like jet engines and shit? Team Star was fun. No, it's just really funny to look at. That's
all the bosses fight with. The gym tests are also just tedious, simple tasks. It's more of a formality than an actual test, considering a lot of them just play the game for you. If you can't find Clavel in Lavencia, the camera just zooms in until you do. The trainers you need to find in Medali have massive text boxes pointing them out. If they're not painfully easy, then they're just painful. Cascarafa sends you on a fetch quest to a whole nother town. The Glaciado gym test is lifted straight from a 2009 spin-off game for the Wii, with half the frame rate of the Wii game.
Yo, what kind of zinging him, huh? When did the Wii come out? Like 2005 or some shit? Oh, that is such a downgrade.
Japan still has an interesting perspective on black people.
Lyrical, miracle, spiritual, individual, criminal.
And minority inclusivity, name a better combo.
Hey,
That's
at least
insane,
we got some
man.
Whooper representation, you feel me?
Hey, yo, what's crackin' lacking, my nigga?
No! Why did they have to do them like that? No! Whooper!
Oh, come on, bro. We can't have shit. What did he mean by this? Oh, thank God. It's finally evolving.
That is terrible. What a
Hey, yo, what the
stereotype.
fuck? Now's as good a time as any to talk about the Pokemon designs. They're kinda dookie. Nothing illustrates the creative
Dookie.
bankruptcy of Game Freak quite like the terrible designs of every single new Pokemon. I mean, a donut dog? Seriously?
Yeah, talk to him, King. All of the new designs are trash. They don't compare to Gen 1.
Yes.
Donut pupper. Kind of cute.
Thank you, Pikachu. See, that's what I'm trying to say. They just don't make them like they used to. Hey, wait a minute. You're not Pikachu.
What are you
Wait a
talking
minute.
about?
Wait
I'm
hold on a second.
Pika,
Jinx?
bitch.
Hey, wait. The old designs were kind of dog shit.
Yeah, I'm willing to take it on the chin. Some of the designs from Gen 1 were shit, but there was only very few of them. Not that many.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Do you want to farm some easy Reddit karma? Old design good, new design bad.
True.
You're welcome. This image has been around for a while now and always makes the rounds on social media whenever a new generation drops. It aims to
I mean, I like this more, and this. I don't like this. This is okay. Had the art style be Swish, you would have ended up with something like this. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that is kind of like how it is.
Highlight the differences between old and new monster designs and how the Pokemon would look if they were to have their core.
Yo, actually, kind of, they have a point. Go back to the old fucking art style. I like it. I have a bias. Yo. This guy's kind of cooking up some shit. It's true.
Core design aspects swapped. This picture is a 2-pack of ass. Shit stinks. While the original artist is definitely talented, the image has been used to make an argument built on twigs and held together by duct tape. The idea is that earlier generations, specifically Generation 1, had these sharp angles and detailed body parts that were relatively grounded in reality. But at some point, Pokemon adapted this new design philosophy, where everything became more simplified and rounded to achieve a more cutesy look. You know, I never understood the term Gen 1er until I saw this image. If you go in looking for something hard enough, eventually you will find it. Certainly helps when you conveniently draw a line around whatever confirms your.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, he's got a point. There are cutesy Pokemon. I feel like, yeah, he's just cherry picking. Yeah.
Biases and exclude everything else. Gen 1 had 151 Pokemon. A sample size of 3 is nothing. For every 3 Pokemon that adhere to these rules, there are 6 more that violate it, but people ate this shit up. A handful of folks who didn't agree though would parody this image with their own edit, which swapped the old and new mons to show how disingenuous and cherry-picked the original post.
Hands for no natural reason, simplified shell, cutesy eyes, cartoony arm and leg. You know, he's got a point. Yeah, that's hypocritical.
Any criticism thrown at the new designs can just as easily apply to the old ones. An ice cream cone and literal garbage? Man, game.
Like the garbage Pokemon. What was that? Black and white, I think? That was black and white. This one. Pretty sure the garbage Pokemon came from black and white.
Freak has really fallen off. Yeah, man, character design really peaked with literally just a Pokeball that evolves into an inverted Pokeball and a pile of sludge that becomes a big pile of sludge.
Big pile!
Hey, how do we go about evolving this thing?
Another one.
You know, when you put it this way, maybe Gen 1 wasn't that great.
Another one.
Another one.
So perfect, in fact, that we should do that twice. Fuck it. 3-peat.
Okay, I concede.
Did I hear a 4? Clefairy and Jigglypuff embody all of the cute rounded traits that are supposedly only prevalent in later generations. Dragonite also falls under that, especially when compared to the other pseudo-legendaries. It looks like something out of Dragon Tales. Another criticism is that new designs are lazy. Flamigo is just a flamingo. My brother in Arceus. Seal is literally a seal.
A seal,
named Seal, that evolves into literally a dugong named.
It's a manatee, look. He actually makes really good constructive arguments for this. I would have been like biased me, like, yeah, Gen 1's better, but you know what? He's putting a good case for it.
Dugong! And perhaps the most frustrating complaint is that a lot of the new Pokemon don't look like Pokemon, but instead look like humans in costume. Why are they making humanoid Pokemon with human professions? Like, Cinderace is basically just a fursona.
What about Mr. Mime, man? Every gen has gems and trash. True. I fucking hated Mr. Mime. I thought it was a fucking stupid ass fucking character. Hitmonlee. Yeah, Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee, weren't they based on Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee? Like, are you joking? Like, of course, Gen 1 had its, like, really stupid ha little quirks.
Huh. You almost forgot about the entire Machop line. Bro literally got on his little Speedo and a championship belt. That's not true. I don't know what it is. Mind Shao was created because so many of the old fighting mons had just been humans, which is ironic considering these were also in Gen 5. Humanoid and anthro monsters are nothing new. Oh no, the cat stood up on 2 legs. Y'all did not have the same kind of energy for Lucario.
Yeah, Lucario. People were simping for Lucario, even back in like the old internet days.
But don't get me wrong, it's not like there aren't any bad designs among the new ones. You got uncircumcised snake, Tumbleweed.
Why do you have to compare it to a penis, man?
Just
why are you gonna do him like that?
Steroid mosquito. Expensive.
Steroid mosquito. No.
Just ate some ass.
Just ate some ass. Steroid mosquito. Are you kidding?
Steroid mosquito. Expensive prostitute. Doug Trio from K-Lid. Centipede with a mustache. Actually, what is Game Freak's thing with mustache?
What is Game Freak's thing with mustaches? That's a good point. Look at all these mustaches.
Every single generation has had good and bad designs, and that
True.
trend still continues. Some bad designs, they keep repeating with every generation. Shout out to ugly ass fish Pokemon with no
You don't include Magikarp. Magikarp is a G. You don't diss on that.
redeeming evolution. Gotta be one of my favorite genders. While the range of animals and objects they're willing to turn into Pokemon has definitely expanded since the simpler days of Red and Blue, there hasn't been some drastic departure from what a Pokemon is. What has changed though is you, the player. Nostalgia and the Pokemon franchise are inseparable. It kind of thrives on it. It's the reason why the whole National Dex fiasco was such a big thing. Choose 6 monsters to carry you through your journey and build a bond with these inanimate lines of code before all 7 of you are eventually immortalized in the Hall of Fame. You're going to be a lot more charitable when looking back on those older designs.
Aww. That's it's nostalgic, man. I remember watching these on YouTube and
If a
shit.
Pokemon like Geodude dropped today, let's be honest, we would collectively shit on it. I mean, I'm not immune to any of this. I have a preference for the older designs too. I try to make teams of only newer Pokemon when playing a new region, but
I do too, actually. I try not to go back to the old ones. Like Ampharos is like Gen 2 or 3. Like, holy crap. This one is forget, is that this one's new. This one's new. This one's new. Nostalgia, baby.
aside from my starter, which I never bench, I only ended up picking up these 2. Tinkaton is a 10 out of 10 design, this is not up for discussion, and my inner edgelord was not gonna let me not get Celoredge. I mean, it's even got edge in the name. Also, folks seem to forget, but Pokemon is largely aimed at a very young audience, and children aren't going to view these fictional creatures through such an analytical lens. A lot of older fans started playing the games as kids, hence why they'd be less critical of past gens. When I asked my younger siblings, who were too young to have the monsters mentally categorized by region, what designs they did and didn't like, their picks were pretty evenly distributed throughout every single generation. Also, I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. When I was like 8 years old, I designed some of my own Pokemon, and let's just say my standards weren't exactly high. This is Aquap. He's a
Oh, is that even real? That's so cute. It's because awesome. He's actually sharing that shit.
water
Aw.
type. You can tell because he's a
Aqua.
dog. That's blue. He evolves
Blue.
into Aquamud. This is
Aquamud, are you kidding me? Aquamud.
Stumpy. It's a tree stump.
Stumpy.
You can tell it's a grass type because his legs are made of vines.
Green.
Also,
yeah.
I made multiple Pokemon that followed the quadruped to biped pipeline before it became a meme. Hey, don't look at me like that. I refuse to believe your standards were any higher. Another thing to consider is the
Nope, they
shift from
weren't.
2D
Little
to 3D,
kids.
which also contributes to such a defined line being drawn between old and new. The newer mons have never been imagined in 2D, further distancing them from their older relatives in the minds of players.
True.
Many fans of the series,
True.
myself included, preferred when the games were 2D, but I don't think the shift to 3D was somehow the start of Game Freak's downfall. It just exacerbated existing problems. Ever since the success of Red and Green, Game Freak has largely been just a Pokemon studio. They've made some other games here and there, but mainline Pokemon is their bread and butter.
I literally didn't know Game Freak made other games. I'm gonna be completely honest.
And with
Literally
each
never heard of
subsequent
it.
release, they refined their craft. We went from the monstrosities that were the beta sprites to sprites that actually resembled their concept art.
What the hell? My boy's about to lick some ass. RX Trevor, hello, how are you?
Pokemon started popping out of Pokeballs instead of just manifesting out of thin air. Every Pokemon got an additional sprite and some squash and stretch to simulate movement at the start of battles. We got follower Pokemon, more elaborate attack animations, 3D modeled
Yeah.
environments, and finally in Black and White, the Pokemon started to actually move, as all 649 had been given idle animations. Then over a decade of iteration and improvements would be thrown away in favor of stiff 3D models with cut corners and reused animations. Going from 2D
Yeah, you know what? That actually does track in my head. I do remember going into battle and thinking to myself, like, every fucking animation is the fucking same. Did we go back in time, back to like Red and Blue, where every little sprite kind of had the same move and it only had like a little bit of difference, you know what I mean? Because of the limitations at the time. And now we're just doing the same thing for 3D. I don't know, it just seems kind of lazy to me.
2D to
Lazy,
3D
lazy.
isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's also not an inherent improvement. When you take something like manga and adapt it to animation, if you're not making the most out of that artistic medium, it's easy to create something that looks worse than the original panel.
That's 7 Deadly Sins, dude. I hated this so much. Ah, it's so bad. Oh, it's so bad.
Just having characters move now isn't an automatic upgrade.
It's so
Likewise,
bad.
if you're going to
They're
animate
sick.
3D models, then you have to animate those 3D models. When looking at a static 8-bit sprite on a 3-inch Game Boy screen, your mind fills in a lot of the blanks. Sure, the sprites are posed in ways to communicate their Pokemon's personality, but your mind still has to do a lot of the heavy lifting to bring this still image to life. You understand that this is an abstraction of a real Pokemon battle. They're not actually two statues standing there and taking turns hitting each other. The closer the art gets to mimicking real life, the more
He has palsy or something. Why is he doing this little shake? He's a VTuber. He's
has
a
to be done to
VTuber.
bring everything to life.
What is
Look
he
at
doing,
Tyrannosaurus.
man?
He went from this menacing monster to looking like he's about to ask if I got games on my phone. This extends to
Dude, I love this guy. He just fucking spits facts. It's disgusting.
every single aspect of each game. When you're playing Fire Red and Viridian City and Pallet Town are 2 seconds apart, you understand that this is a simplified depiction of a route between two locations. When you can rotate your camera and spot the next gym a few meters away from the current one, it takes you out of the experience. Reading
That
text
is
box
really,
after
really
text box felt
unimmersive.
natural when you were looking at top-down pixelated chibis. When you see a human character visibly emote and no words leave their lips, it's a bit jarring. I mean, you could say that the games still don't have voice acting to stick to tradition, but let's be honest.
Is that real? Is that a bug? Hi, Antari. How's it going? Dude, is that real?
I mean, you could say that the games still don't have voice
Why does he... Who animated this?
acting
What
to
the
stick to tradition,
hell?
but let's be honest, it's to save time and money. Man, the games would be so much better if they just stuck to 2D. Nah, not really. The truth is that the games have always had cut
Hello?
corners. Those Gen 5 idle animations were achieved by taking 2D sprites, dividing their body parts into separate segments, and applying
What?
transformations on them individually to give the illusion of traditional sprite animation. You can
Yo, that's insane. I didn't even know that. Like old martial arts movies without the audio? Oh, yeah. Isn't the going theory that they really just want to push the game out before Christmas? Yes.
easily
Yes.
spot this on a sprite like Golurk, where the top of its body just slides up and down over its legs, which remain static. Game Freak are so lazy, man. I can't believe they would take models from a 6-year-old 3DS game and put them in their new $60 Switch game. Damn, bro, that's crazy. Also, Game Freak doesn't even make the 3D Pokemon models. They never have. That's handled by Pokemon CG Studio, which is a part of the company Creatures. Yet, Game Freak still catches all the shit from fans. A lot of aspects of the modern games are being outsourced to other companies. Here's a list of companies that have helped during development of recent Pokemon games.
The plight of corporatism again is that the bigger you get, the more diluted your creative outlets and the control you have over the entire overarching project. That's a big problem. It's sad. Like, what do you do about it? I don't know.
Again, simply replacing Game Freak with a different company won't change anything, because as things are now, it's already not just being developed by Game Freak. Yet when another company leads development on a
Go indie? Yeah, but then go indie becomes I don't have enough money. Downsize? That's a solution. Come Larian? But Larian is it indie though? They're like a AA. Like they're still independent, but they still have to hire people that are like in the company. I guess that makes sense, yeah, but like I'm saying, like if Larian ever sold out to a bigger company so that they could have a bigger project, this is what becomes of it.
on
Yeah.
a spin-off game, they're praised by fans and they should be the new mainline devs. Comparisons are often made between the modern 3D games and Pokemon Battle Revolution on the Wii. It was developed by a company called Genius Sonority and released 7 years before X and Y. It had unique attack animations for every single
What the
Pokemon, and
fuck?
instead of jumping up and somehow landing a physical attack from the other side of the screen, the Pokemon actually ran over to each other.
Yo, I never heard of this, dude. This is sick. This is what happens in your head when you play those games, man. crazy.
traded blows. So are the games just advancing in reverse? Wait a minute. Take a look at this Kangaskhan. Wait. Zoom. Enhance. Why is he moving like that? I mean, the textures look okay, but there's just something off about it.
I'm scared.
Even Wii games had better models than this.
I'm scared.
Wait a
What
minute.
is
Wait,
it?
stop right there. This is a Nintendo 64 model. These are Nintendo 64 animations. They ripped
What?
the assets from a 7-year-old game and used them across 3 console generations. Look.
Holy crap! That is some budget cutting, but that's even somehow better than what we have now.
Whether it's a mainline or spin-off game, reused assets have been a part of the series for decades. There really aren't many criticisms of the new games I can think of that don't also apply to the old games. My homegirl champion Geeta has been catching flack for her suboptimal team, like all of the older battles were somehow peak game design. Ah yes, it was truly riveting gameplay when that Team Rocket boss sent out 6 identical models.
I do remember playing this as a kid, and I was like, "So, what's gonna happen after the third coughing or the fourth wheezing?" And I'm like, "You're just gonna send another one out? Like, really? Like, you're gonna do that to me?"
Good stuff. Well done. But she's a champion. You have to compare her to the other champions.
No, you don't.
Okay then. I was on the edge of my seat when Lance sent out his 3rd Dragonite. Well done,
Yeah!
champion tier stuff, Lance. No, you have to compare her to Cynthia, the best champion. Her ace, Garchomp, is like the best ever. Okay. Counter argument.
Kaboom! Ice type destroyed.
It's extremely difficult to not have a selective memory when looking back at
Gil!
nostalgic pieces of media. So
Thank
it
you.
makes sense when we reminisce on past generations, we tend to remember the best games from each one. Fire Red
Yeah.
and Leaf Green are looked back upon more fondly than Red and Blue. Heart Gold and Soul Silver brought tons of new improvements to Johto. Emerald and Platinum are the definitive ways to experience Hoenn and Sinnoh respectively. They didn't get any of those games right on the first try. Gen 1 and 2 were both horribly glitchy. Emerald introduced double battles and made Hoenn's story more cohesive.
I never experienced the glitches, but you know, maybe I just have selective memory because I was a child.
Platinum expanded on Diamond and Pearl's story as well, and brought tons of quality of life changes. The ungodly slow game speed from Diamond and Pearl was bumped up to something more manageable, and many Pokemon sprites were improved upon. A large portion of the sprites shipped in a pretty rough state in D&P. Hitmonlee got his right eye falling off the side of his head, Staravia's beak is trying to migrate south, Gliscor got these beady ass eyes and no definition around its mouth, and Registeel... Yo, what were they cooking with this one? All of these and a bunch of other ones would be remade entirely for Platinum. That's why when these new titles drop looking like they're still in alpha, I'm
No
not really
fucking
surprised.
way. I didn't
And
even
you shouldn't
realize
be
until he
either.
put it in
Yeah,
the
new
background.
Pokemon games are shit, but Pokemon games have always been kind of shit. These are problems with the franchise that have been there since its inception.
No, Zominator. They didn't. Okay, you're too innocent. You're too innocent. I understand. It's okay.
But with the ever-increasing scale of the series and the jump to 3D, the cracks are really starting to show and getting much harder to ignore. The fans who grew up with the series aren't wide-eyed kids anymore. They do adult things like work a job and cry themselves to sleep. Spending 60
And spend money on their mortgages instead of Pokemon cards. Yeah, I get it.
bucks of their hard-earned money on a piece of media and getting something half-baked is understandably going to piss off anybody. But the games haven't changed nearly as much as the people playing them and what they're willing to tolerate. Look, there are a whole lot of things genuinely wrong
Wait. Why is there so many Gardevoirs around him, man? This is so scary. This looks like the plot for a fucking corn.
with the modern games, and it's cool to call it out, but we can do that without deifying the older titles as some flawless works that have nothing in common with the recent ones. A lot of us have just outgrown the series. I mean, we can't even seem to agree on when exactly it is the game started going downhill. Here's a thread from 2009 hating on Ruby and Sapphire. Here's a
Yo, how could you hate on Ruby and Sapphire though, honestly?
thread from
What the hell?
2012 hating on Black and White, yet now Gen 5 is looked back upon as an underrated gem. It's a cycle that repeats itself every few generations. I'm sure a decade from now, people are going to be singing the praises of Paldea. Fans just like to be able to point fingers in the moment, and the easiest target is Game Freak. In the thread reminding
Too much
people
water?
hating on
Yeah,
the Gen
I mean,
4
I agree with
remakes
that, but still.
Game Freak didn't even develop the games. Top comment, Junichi Masuda was still the director. They're not trying to reason with anybody, they just want to be angry. Sometimes they even come up with their own headcanon. That Bugman.
Holy crap. That Bugman Masuda still carries a grudge towards his fans for mocking his act of Dude, this is some essaying shit.
And
Damn,
Masuda
boy.
still carries a grudge towards fans, mocking his magnum opus, Pokemon Black and White. He led development. It was his idea to base it outside of Japan. It was his idea to include only
This
new
is some
Pokemon and to
essaying.
make
I
the
ain't
game
reading
story
that shit.
intensive,
Reddit
but it
type
didn't sell well.
ass
Fans
bitch.
hated the games he poured his heart and soul into, and he was devastated. It was at this moment that Masuda made a 180 and vowed to never produce any games with love ever again. Bro, did he make this vow to you personally? Like,
Yeah.
where are you pulling this from?
Who hurt Japath speaketh, by the way? Who hurt
Imagine
this
him
man?
walking up to the shareholders and being like, yeah, I'm a spiteful bastard, so I'm just gonna make the game suck from now on because I got beef with the fans. And they all just give him a thumbs up and greenlight the project. It doesn't matter that
Yeah,
older fans are
totally.
falling off the series because
Yeah, this boy's fucking role playing in his head.
there are always just as many kids, if not more, getting into it. That's the nature of the franchise. That's what makes it immortal. So there's no need for anything to change. It's not just Game Freak. It's not just Masuda. It's not just the Pokemon Company. It's every single cog in this multi-billion-dollar machine. Every corporate entity involved with the games knows how much of a powerhouse the Pokemon name is. Nintendo's own internal playtesting team, Mario Club, is responsible for debugging and QA testing all the mainline games. It's right there in the credits for Scarlet and Violet.
Debug.
Nintendo knows exactly what state every game is in before it ships, and it still ships because it still sells. Pokemon perfectly falls in line with Nintendo's other
If it didn't sell, they wouldn't fucking ship it. That's why it sucks. That's why there's so many fucking whales in video games. It's the same principle. It doesn't matter that you complaining on Reddit and saying, oh my god, I can't believe that Blizzard is doing this to my video game. I hate this. Because for every one of your stupid Reddit essays that you write up, there's 10 more people who just buy the game and they go, oh my god, this is awesome, I love Blizzard. And they don't ever type it and they just keep buying their stupid games, their stupid game shops, they buy their stupid subscription models. Doesn't fucking matter. Ah!
business practices that I laid out earlier. Nintendo games have a history of basically never going on sale.
Grumpy
and
Lana?
They never
Yes,
need to
I'm very
because
grumpy.
they still sell. A pre-owned copy of Emerald is worth $200 because apparently even that still sells.
I pray resellers stub their toe, trip, and fall ballsack first into infinitely respawning shards of broken glass. I used to have one of these, man.
Value is ultimately dictated by how much people are willing to spend, and Nintendo is very aware of that fact. Corporations will always act in the best interest of their shareholders, and looking at Nintendo's results for the last quarter, I'd say they're pretty damn happy. From their perspective, they're doing everything right. They can announce paid DLC for Scarlet and Violet 3 months later for over half the price of a full game and get away with it. And for people who are going to bring up another Nintendo game to compare turnaround times like Tears of the Kingdom, which has been in development
Resellers are cringe and actually deserve to have shattered glass shoved up their hoo-ha. Yeah, it's the same thing as me wanting to buy the stupid DLC for what is it called, for Stranger Things on DVD. It's now $500 in the market because of one little fucking snap of their fingers that Steam did. So where's the same energy for Pokemon Yu-Gi-Oh card and the resellers? I completely agree. I think it's still really cringe that there's like things that are worth like billions, like, you know, like the card as an accumulative thing. The old cards that they don't print anymore, they cost millions now. Same with like fucking, what is it called? Like, what is the predecessor for Hearthstone? The TCG Blizzard cards. Like, I want a set, but I can't buy them because they stopped printing them. So stupid.
For 5 years or so, Zelda games need to be polished to fly off shelves. Pokemon doesn't. Within the top 50 best-selling games, Nintendo's name appears 27 times. Only one of those is a Zelda game, and you can probably guess which one. Skyrim and GTA 5 catch shit for how much they've been milked, but Mario Kart 8 is about 9 years old at this point with no sequel on the horizon. Why drop a new game when you can just remaster old courses and sell?
That's fucking gross, man. I didn't even know about this. Like, I like Mario Kart, but I didn't know that they resell this shit like that.
DLC. At the end of the day, all you can really do on an individual level is vote with your dollar. And as unimpactful as that may feel, it's still more impactful than bitching online. I can almost guarantee you that the next generation of games are going to be $70 a pop, and I will not be copying. Shit, I mean, I don't even
Look
own
at
my
that
own Nintendo
FPS!
Switch.
Ugh!
Huh? Huh? What was that? How did I play Violet without a Switch? Trade secret. I'll teach you when you're older.
Nintendo.
How did they get here so fast? We don't have much time. Quick, before they break in, I need to tell you about this video sponsor. Brilliant. Brilliant.org is an online learning platform designed to teach math and science in an intuitive and engaging manner. Math is a scary subject.
All right. Check out this guy's sponsor. Love this guy. Very funny. Very hilarious. Love the jokes. Check out their content. We watched their video yesterday, but also don't fire it. Don't fire it. But buy our. Oh, worry. Don't worry. We buy them all. Shh. Nintendo, don't come after me. We buy our video games, right, guys? We don't. The bad thing. No. I gotta go pee. Fuck. What are we talking about? Yeah, I don't know either. I'll be right back. I need to pee so bad. Thank you, Phoenix, for the follow. Piss yourself? No. Anyway, please check out this guy's video while I go pee, or check out his channel. Give him a subby wubby.